Hi, and welcome back to Craft Along with Jay. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Yetta, and I am so happy you could join me today. Today, I have three very easy and very budget-friendly DIYs for you. So let's dig right into it. Project number one. I thrifted this beautiful candle holder stick from I think it was Goodwill. I got it for 318. As you can see, the original price was 9.99. But we're going to redo it to fit my decor. So the first thing I did, I gave it a coat of Mod Podge. And you can see it took some of the shine away. And now I'm going to mix some of Waverly's chalk paint in the color celery. And I'm going to add some baking soda to it so we get a nice textured mix out of this. And I didn't measure anything. I did separate them and then I was going to slowly add the baking soda into the paint until I get the texture that I'm looking for. Um, yeah, don't do that. It's better to just mix it because this became such a mess and it was all over the place. And you can see I added more anyway. So just add a little bit at a time. And here I'm going to show you up. You see, I'm going to sponge dab it on, and you can see the texture on there already. So it's going to look more like ceramic or stone kind of thing, but with a color to it. Um, but I think it just upgraded this candlestick uh, to look so much more high end. And I'm going to give it one coat completely covered, and then I'm going to let it sit and dry and then give it another coat. So two coats total, but let it dry in between. And if you need to make more mixture, you just go ahead and make more. I did have to end up making a little bit more, but not much though. So I just go around and do the whole thing. And I love this color. You can do any color that you want to, but I wanted this. It can be up all year with this green color, but it also geared towards, spring and summer. So you can do any color that suits your decor style. This, I wish I had another one. They only had this one. So I'm on the lookout to see if I can find something similar at any Goodwill or thrift store. Because it would be nice to kind of have two to put on top of my mantle. And then once I've given two coats and it's all dry, I'm going to give it another coat of Mod Podge just to make sure to seal it in. And before we go to the next step, and I'm going to give the whole thing a coat of Mod Podge. And I'm using the matte. I didn't want any shiny glossiness to it. I wanted it just matte. And I hope I'm not going to show you me painting Mod Podge on the whole thing. Yeah, no. Okay, good. I was getting a little nervous there. Then I'm going to use these rub-on transfers, and if I remember, I'll link them down in my description box. I've had people ask for a link to where I got them before. So if I remember, I'll add it down in my description box. They are from Amazon. And I just picked out um, whatever I liked from there. And I kind of liked the one that had like that burgundy colored rose to it. So those are kind of the ones I'm going for, the ones that has that in the mixture. And I'm cutting out several of them, trying to figure out which one I want to use and how many I want it to use. I didn't want to overdo it. I wanted to give it enough to elevate the look of it, just to have a really high-end classic look to it. So I'm cutting away here, trying to find the right piece. And here I'm just trying to see how much space it takes and also kind of, consider that it's a rounded surface. It's not a flat surface. But I found one that I liked and I think that would look nice on it. So I'm peeling the backing off. They had a little bit of text at the bottom here, which I did not want on my candle holder, so I cut that off. And then I'm just kind of figuring out the placement before I press it down. And since it's a rounded surface, I'm not putting the whole thing down all at once. I'm so sorry, my allergies. So I'm just, carefully just pushing it down with my finger, starting at one side just to make sure that it's going to go down smooth without there being any bubbles underneath, if that makes sense. And I even have little slits in my paper here just to help it. And then I can push down one side, and then I can push down the other side. So you can kind of feel around or even see how you need to maneuver this down, or if you need to make slits in the paper to make it easier. So, but definitely take your time with this. And then I'm going to start lifting the paper right here at the corner and slowly pull it back. And also as I'm doing this, I'm pushing it down with my finger, just kind of rubbing it over, making sure the design is staying on the surface. So this paper is very sticky, so it's very important to get that Mod Podge on as well. It would help protect the paint. And I didn't peel up any paint with this, but you see I had to kind of lay it back down and kind of cut some more slits in there. So that's when I can start getting the other side pushed down and making sure that everything is going down smooth. And also here you can use any kind of rub-on transfer if you want to, and even stickers. You can get some really beautiful stickers, even on Amazon or Hobby Lobby, and that would be really pretty on here as well. So, but since I had these rub-on transfers, I really wanted to add this on here, and I really like these roses, and especially that burgundy color with this green. So once I got it all down and everything is laying flat, I'm going to give it a coat of Mod Podge on top as well, just to seal in the rub-on transfer. Give it a nice good coating so it's not going to go anywhere. And that's really all it is for this one. What a transformation, huh? I really love how this turned out. There it is with a little candle in it. This is just a lid candle. It's not real. It's battery operated, but I love how that turned out. So on to project number 2. I found this picture frame at the Dollar Tree. And I like the gold on it, just not this gold. So I'm going to use my gold leaf rub and buff and paint that over the whole frame. So this is kind of muting down the brightness of the gold that it has and also the shininess. But I like the gold on this frame. So I'm just going to go ahead, and a little rub and buff goes a long way, so you do not need a whole lot. So here I'm just going to go ahead and paint it on. I'm just squeezing a tiny bit onto my brush, and then I'm brushing it on. See, I barely put anything on. And then make sure you get, this is raised, so you want to make sure you get the edges and also down in the little crevices that's there, and also on the inside of the frame. Anything that you can see when it's sitting up. I'm so sorry. Ooh, there's allergies today. We'll get there. We'll get it under control. All right, so I'm going to give it just one coat. That's all I'm doing. And while that's drying, I'm going to take the back part of the frame right here, and I'm going to paint that with Waverly's chalk paint in ivory. I wanted to give it a little bit more of a vintage white, and I think this does the trick. And don't worry about that little hole that you can see right there on the back part where that stand is connected to in the back, because we're going to cover that. And here I go in with another set of flowers, and I picked out this burgundy rose. There's something about these burgundy roses these days. But I really like them, and I think it went really well with the gold. I tried to hold up a pink flower next to it, and I wasn't liking it as much as the burgundy colored one or the red one, but it really went well with the gold frame. So here I made a mistake, and I did not put Mod Podge on here. So do as I say, not as I do. You definitely want to put Mod Podge on it, because now that I'm peeling up the the transfer tape here, I'm peeling up quite a bit of paint too. But it kind of works out to my advantage, because when I'm fixing it, and I actually I actually like it better the way it fixes than not having done anything to it, had I not ripped any of that paper off. So it kind of worked out okay. However, just generally, and I got to remind myself too, just put some Mod Podge down. because I can still do what I do here if I hadn't done this, if that makes sense. I probably wouldn't have thought about it, uh, but I kind of had to cover up my boo-boo here. So here I'm going around with the ivory paint, and I'm just going to paint over it, but you could still see where there's been some ripping. So I was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do now? Well, first we're going to seal in our design here. So I give the whole thing a coat of clear wax just to seal it in and also to protect the flower for what we're going to do next. And I'm just using a fan brush to do this. It spreads it out very nicely. And then I'm going to go in with some antique wax. And with barely anything on the brush, I'm going to go around the rose right here. And I'm just very, very lightly just kind of distressing it around the flower. You see, like that? And because we put the clear wax down, this is going to be easier to wipe back than if I had not done it. You could still wipe it back, but it would be like a different result. That's just my experience. You may have better experience with just using this without having clear wax under it. I just don't have that luck. So I just like to have that clear wax under if I gotta wipe back a lot of this antique wax on something that's already painted. So here, that's what I'm doing, just a dry paper towel, and I'm just gonna go around and just wipe it back and kind of blend it in better, as you see right here. And it gives it a nice outline to the rose, which I really liked, which I would not have done had I not messed up. So it turned out okay. So I liked it. And yeah, we put this back in the frame, we put the glass in, and then the backing. And you will see how well it goes with um, a darker, more muted tone of gold that is not so shiny. And it definitely elevated this picture frame for sure. So yeah, let me know what you think about this one. I really like it, and I really like the outline that I had to distress around the flower. All right, on to project number 3. I told you these are so easy to make. We're gonna just run through all of these. So I have these tags that I'm pretty sure I got from Walmart, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my Elmer's glue stick. That one didn't work. I had run out, but I got back up. So we're gonna use this one, and I'm just gonna go around the raised part of the tag. So what I do to one tag, I'll do to the other one as well. The other one I'll just do off camera. See, I could give it a good coat of the glue. And then I have the scrapbook paper, which is from Hobby Lobby. And I am going to figure out the right side up, and then I'm going to place it down onto the glue. Just line it up really well, and then press it down. And I want to make sure on the bottom and the side that it's like lined up perfectly. So it's just the top and the other side that you really have to um, cut out. So here I'm just cutting it around to make it smaller, and then I'm going in with my X-Acto knife, and I'm just with my finger making a crease along the raised part of the tag, and that's why I need to cut with my X-Acto knife to get the excess paper off. And that worked really well. It was pretty easy to do. So here I'm creasing it with my finger, and then I can see where I need to run my X-Acto knife over it. You see, and it comes up perfectly. And here I'm doing the same thing on the side, like so. Then I'm going to go in with some more celery paint, and I'm going to paint the little outline of the tag. And it went really well with the paper, the colors of the paper and the designs, as you can see right here. It's a really pretty paper. I love this. So I'm just going to go all the way around. And I do the same thing to the other tag as well. Oh, I guess I got to show you that I'm finishing up painting. And then I'm going in with my X-Acto knife, and I'm from the back side. I'm kind of going in, poking a hole through where that hole is in the tags, where you would put a hanger. And I'm just kind of going around from the back side and getting that out. Then I have some of these wood cutout butterflies, which I'm pretty sure they're from Hobby Lobby. And then I have a little wood cutout that says sunshine, and that is from the Dollar Tree. And that got stuck on my paper because it had a little line of glue on the back. So um, I got to work on that here in a second. But here I'm just going to use my antique wax, paint it on, and rubbing it off. And here I'm starting with two butterflies. I do end up adding one more in a little bit. And then I got to get this sign off. And right now it's still in one piece, but I do end up breaking it. It is so fragile. So be careful with these wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree. They're very nice. They're just very thin and they break very easy. But it's okay. When I glue it onto the tag, you can piece it together and you can't tell that it was ever broken. So here I'm going in with the first part. Oops, a little slippery. And then I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue here and there. And then I'll put it down where I want it, towards the top. And then we're going to do the other part of the word. And then we'll piece it together. Just like that. And you can't even tell. So and then we're going to add just a couple of butterflies onto the paper. Just a little bit of hot glue here and there, not too much because you don't want it to seep out at the bottom and you can tell that there's hot glue there. So just a little bit just to keep it in place. And then we're going to attach them together. I'm putting some hot glue on the plain one and add the one with the butterflies and the word on top. And I'm lining them up so the holes are kind of matching at the top. So, it's there's a hole all the way through. And that's when I decided to do one more butterfly. And I wanted to add that on the bottom tag where there's a little corner left up just to tie it all together. And I think it looks super cute. So let's just brush on it a little bit and then wipe it off with a dry paper towel just to get the excess off. Just like so. And then we'll add a little bit of hot glue to the back and then adhere that to the bottom tag. Then I got some of this pretty lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And I'm kind of folding it in half just to get it through the holes. But you can kind of open it up once you get it through. And here I'm just trying to determine the length of it, how I want it to hang down. I'm just kind of playing around with it. Do I want to keep it folded? Do I want to just fold it to get through and then open it back up? So you kind of play around with it to kind of get the look that you're looking for. So here got the length that I wanted. Then I'm going to take it back off. Then I also got this satin. It's like an ivory color satin ribbon from the Dollar Tree and some rickrack from Hobby Lobby. It's all like ivory colored. And I cut those three pieces at the same length. And then I had the lace, the satin, and then the rickrack in that order on top of each other. But when you put it through the hole, put it in backside up when you get through, because when you pull it through and you loop them up together, then you could see all three ribbons. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, and then I just tied a knot, and I think that gave it a really nice look. So, and here I'm just going in with a tumbling towel block just to help it in the back, because I'm not going to use this as hanging on the wall. I'm going to have it stand like a shelf sitter. So I'm just putting a Jenga block back there, and this is what it looks like. I think it's absolutely adorable. Let me know what you think. Now let's take a final look at the three easy and budget-friendly projects. And there they are. Let me know what you think about them. And also, if you made it to the end of the video with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It really helps my channel grow, and it means the world to me. And don't forget, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel and like, comment, and hype my video. I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being here with me today. It means the world to me. Until next time.